everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to, I guess this is the second or third video that I'm posting this year. So I'm really excited to be hanging out with you guys. It has been such a nice break, but we're back to work, baby. We're back to work, we're back to doing things. I'm in the plant room today because I have a lot to water in here. I have a lot to do. And I kind of just wanted to, go over some things that, like some goals I have this year while I water and reorganize and clean up the plant room, because this room is always getting dirty. Whenever it's dirty, it gives me the worst vibes. So I really want to make the vibes better for myself. So I feel like if I am doing it with you, it won't be so bad. I have watered a couple of things since I came back from Christmas with my family, but to be completely honest with you, the watering has been few and far between. Some of these plants have not been watered since mid-December, which is insane because that was almost 4 weeks ago. I think it's a great testament to their resilience, but also a bigger testament to just where I've been. Mentally, emotionally, I just have not been present with my plants. Obviously I'm not, well, not obviously, but I've talked about being a plant slump. I don't feel like I'm in a plant slump anymore. I feel like it's just the not wanting to get started watering again slump, because I knew that it would be a big watering and I've just been putting it off because I just do not want to do it. But we're gonna get it done together. We're keeping this as casual as possible. So I'm using my plant-a-potty on my plant stand here to give her some height for me. But yeah, I wanted to discuss my goals for 2023 with you guys. I know that everybody has different opinions on resolutions and things like that. And I'm not necessarily a resolutions person, but if you didn't know, my channel actually started as a New Year's resolution. So I told myself, I really want to do YouTube, really want to explore this, but it seems a little embarrassing and cringy. So I'm gonna stick to it for a year. I started January 1st, 2019. And if I don't like it, then I don't have to do it anymore after a year. And then here we are, 4 years later, yeah. I'm starting my 5th year now. So I've done 4 years and it is incredible. Just doing my channel and having this be my job has been the biggest gift. I am so thrilled that this is my job and my life. I love it so much. I can't imagine doing anything else. People ask me if I wasn't doing this, what I would be doing. And I've got answers what I think I might be doing, but I don't think I would be as happy as I am right now doing something else. So anyway, just a little bit of a sappy moment. A thank you to you guys for watching my channel and making all of that possible. But with that being said, I do have some goals for 2023 and I feel pretty motivated to make them happen because they're pretty vague. Nothing is super specific. And I think that's actually something you're not supposed to do. With goal setting, I think you're supposed to be very specific, and that's why it works. For example, starting a YouTube channel. My other one in 2019 was not buying clothes for a year. And I did have a couple slip-ups, but I was successful in that one too. But this year I'm focusing on the main theme for my personal life this year is organization. So I am a person who is a very fly by the seat of my pants type of personality, and my camera's having a hard time finding my face. I think it's distracted by this beautiful Vici eye. So I think that my mind is always very crowded because I'm thinking about all the things that I need to be doing, and no matter how many times I make a million lists or I have my calendar, things still feel up in the air a lot of the time. And I just, my house feels very messy and crowded, and I just want to feel, number one, I have less stuff, and number two, my life actually makes sense. How I have it set up, I have systems in place that make sense. I have lists, I have a calendar, I have all of these things all in one place, and I have a system that makes sense. essentially. So that is my personal life goal, and I'm starting this by going through all my craft stuff, because my craft stuff is probably like my biggest pain point in my life right now, because it's very all over the place. Everything is very confusing and messy, and so I'm doing a little series on my vlog channel showing how I'm organizing all my craft stuff, and just probably will continue the series through the rest of my house, showing how I'm organizing things, because I really need to do it. I have never really been a big organizer person, but I'm feeling now that I have to be, or else my life is going to continue to spiral into unrest. I don't really know. I just feel very unrested with the state of my home and my mind. So that is my personal goal for the year. And I do have some plant goals, which I will share with you after I fill my watering can. Okay, so my first plant goal for the year is, this is gonna feel very obvious, but it is to actually finish the greenhouse and get plants in there growing. This is just a big thing that I've been working on like for the last almost year, and I'm really excited to see it come to fruition. Like, it feels like, I don't know. I'm really glad that we took our time building it, but it has taken a really long time. And I just posted a part 4 of the building process if you guys are interested in seeing like what we've been up to for the last couple of months. But I'm excited for that whole chapter to be done, and just to be able to enjoy it and actually see my plants thriving in there. I think once I move a lot of plants out there, I'll feel less crowded in here, because I don't feel necessarily that I have too many plants, although some would say I probably do. Actually, sometimes I do feel like I have too many plants. But like, having them in a space where I can just like shower them with a hose, I don't have to do the whole watering can and bucket thing. I just feel like it's gonna be so much more convenient to have them, to have like so many, and I can do more experiments, and I can just I don't know, try out new things and have a space that is completely dedicated to that. And I think it's also gonna be like really freaking beautiful, not gonna lie. It'll be a really nice place also for me to start seeds this year, because my garden, I swear this is the year that my garden is going to do the best, because I have 2 years of growth under my belt. You know, the first year I really did not know what I was doing at all. I'm surprised that I even grew things. And then the second year, the weather was really not on my side, on really any of our sides. I feel like anybody who grows food can agree that last year really sucked. But this year, even if the weather sucks, I feel like I am better equipped to handle it. I am better equipped to like figure out and troubleshoot what needs to be done. And I think this year I'm just gonna plant things that I really, really want to eat, and not necessarily things that I think would be cool to grow, because I found myself like with zucchini the first year. I like zucchini, but like, geez, I planted a lot of zucchini and I ended up with a lot that might even still be in my freezer. It's definitely not good anymore, but like, I just had an overabundance of something that I'm like on the fence about whether or not I really even like it all that much. And last year I had a lot of tomatoes, which I was absolutely thrilled by, because I love tomatoes. So anyway, I definitely want to grow like a lot of tomatoes, and I want to grow cantaloupe, because I love cantaloupe. So I don't know. I'm just thinking like all of the things that I want to grow, and I think that it's going to be a really good year. Oh dear, oh dear. My second goal for the year is to finish filling out the plant wall. So obviously you guys saw me build this amazing wall last year, and I have an entire row that is pretty much, actually not pretty much, it's completely empty. And the reason it's been empty was because I didn't want to just like go out and buy a bunch of plants to fill into that spot, like if I didn't have a reason to. But then I was thinking, yeah, that's great, Becca, but also we want plants in the spot that you made for plants. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna propagate some of the baby spider plants off of my spider moms and put those there, because they're so easy to care for. And honestly, I think the requirements for watering them and taking care of them is, well, not I think, I know it's minimal, so it really wouldn't add much to my plate. But I want to do a row of maybe like pothos, spider plant, pothos, spider plant, because I currently only have one pothos, and it's my Enjoy pothos. this one right here. And I have quite enjoyed having it. Oh, that was not good. I want to fill that out. I think it would look a lot better. Obviously, it would be more full, and I don't know, even if it's just like more basic plants, I think that'll be fine. And especially if I'm buying like 4-inch plants, because I have to use the small plants for that because the ladder is there and I don't want the ladder to knock them down. I have to do shorter pots or just smaller pots in general. So if I'm buying like little 4-inch plants, it's not going to be very expensive, and it's something that I have been wanting to do, and a year later, I think I need to do it. For real. My next goal, it goes along with that idea of like propagating my spider plants and things like that. It is to be better about experimenting with my plants. So I feel like a lot of the beginning of my channel was me just trying things out and sharing the process, and people really loved that. And when I moved here, for some reason I kind of just forgot that, or that part of my plant journey just took a pause. And I've been really inspired by Adam and Nicole lately because they're both like doing experiments with their plants and propagating their plants, and just like, I don't know, finding ways to be entertained by their plants in ways that aren't like buying a lot of new plants, which is something that I have always, well, not have always, because there was definitely a point in my plant journey where I was buying a lot. From early on in my channel, I really tried to, I don't know, share the sentiment of experimenting with your plants and playing with your plants and just like doing things with them. Not like bringing them to the freaking movies with you, but just like, I don't know, doing things with your plants that sort of like throw off the balance sometimes, like propagating them or growing them in different ways. And I sort of did that with the planks, but I want to just be better about propagating, and I want to try like a bunch of different propagation methods. Like with the spider plant situation, I'm going to do an experiment and I'll show you like long-term, it'll be in a few months, but I'm doing a long-term experiment with those, showing like what grows best. So I'm just really excited to see all of the experiments I'm going to try out this year, and like all the new ways I'm going to try to grow plants, because I think that I got really set in my ways in the last 2 years, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think with moving and my environment around me changing so much, I really needed a constant, and my plants were definitely a constant for me, like the way that I cared for them and the way that, like, I don't know, our routine and our schedule, it really wasn't ever disrupted by me like trying new things. And I think I definitely needed that in this transition period, because it was a big thing to move from Arizona to Missouri. Like I know that I've discussed that, but like emotionally, physically, what's another one? I don't know, I guess emotionally and physically is the two biggest ones. Like it was just the biggest change that I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm so lucky that I have my husband Daniel, who's always so supportive and kind, and my dogs are just the best. But it was just a really big change for me, a really big shift, and I just feel settled now and very comfortable here, which is not a feeling that I expected to feel for a long time. And yeah, I love living here so much, and now that I feel comfortable, I feel more like I can experiment and like change things up. And I know that might sound kind of silly, but like plants are a huge part of my life, and so I don't feel like it's all that silly, and I hope that you guys understand. Like I do tend to make things a lot deeper than they probably are, but that's just because of who I am as a person. Like I look very deeply at everything, and I like really deconstruct my emotions all the time. It's sometimes a flaw, but other times it is really nice because I can recognize different emotional phases in my life. Like right now, like I'm feeling very settled and like happy with where things are. So I feel like I can sort of disrupt things in my life, such as experimenting. Okay, some of the plants really handled my absence very well, aka my Hoya, and then some things got a little crunchy, but that's okay. It happens. It's totally fine. Whoa! Don't drop it. Anyway, as I was saying, it's totally fine. Just pop them off. More leaves will grow in. Don't let it be a big thing. It's very easy to get down on yourself for things like this, but then you realize it's a friggin' plant and it'll regrow leaves. It's fine. No need. This plant is getting tossed into the compost because it's beyond, and it's been beyond for a long time. I've just tried and tried and tried, but this is the Syndapsis Moonlight Jade or something like that. Oh, I need to trim my bangs so bad, but I keep putting it off. They keep getting in my face. I hate it. You know what? This plant is really thriving lately. I don't know exactly why, but maybe she's also settled in. This is my Dischidia ovata. She just is looking really pretty lately. Look at that new growth right there. I love it. Okay, the next goal that I have for this year is to try out more Hoya. So I kind of was on a big Hoya kick a couple years ago, and I didn't get anything like too wild. I kind of just stuck with the basics. I have like, you know, well, I've shared several Hoya collection videos. Sorry, I just emptied the bucket, so it's gonna be like kind of loud for a few sections here. Anyway, so I loaded up on all of the basic Hoyas, but now I'm kind of wanting to look into more non-basic Hoyas. I don't know. I want them to be still easy care, but I kind of want to try out new ones and just see what I end up liking, because I have, you know, open spaces on the wall, and Hoya are super drought tolerant, and I feel like that's what I need for the wall, because having to water the wall a lot is not fun. So if I can keep the watering to a minimum, let's say, not to say that I'm gonna starve the plants for water, but they just hold water for longer, you know what I mean? So anyway, I wanted to put more Hoya up there and experiment with that. The thing is though, a lot of Hoya are sold super tiny, and I just don't do well with Hoya that are like really, really tiny to begin with. Like there's been a few times where I've grown them to be quite large, but for me, it just takes a long time. And I know that I have friends who have Hoya that are just like going insane all the time, but that's never necessarily been the case for me. It's always been like a low and slow situation with my Hoya, which is fine. But if I want like a, you know, a plant that really makes a statement up here, I want it to be kind of big to begin with. So I'm gonna see what I can do to find Hoyas that are a bit more established. Maybe if I have to pay a little bit more, that's okay. But at least I know that it'll be fine. I don't know, we'll just have to see. I did talk about this with Adam and Nicole, how I want to get more Hoya, and they were like, well, let me just give you some cuttings. And I was like, okay. So I'm gonna try. I'm definitely gonna try. I'm gonna load up the greenhouse cabinet with cuttings from them and, you know, other places that I buy them from, and see what I can do to build up my Hoya collection, because I'm really excited. That is something that I am super excited to try out more this year, because they are very easy. Like even if they're not growing all that much, they're still very fun and easy. And I just now know that if I have Hoya, I need to be consistently treating them for flat mites, because that is a thing. They're impossible to see. So like if any of my Hoya are not growing, I just automatically assume that it has flat mites, which I've been right almost every single time. It was actually pretty nice to finally figure that out, like why so many of them were so stagnant. And it gave me a little bit of more confidence with them. Like even though most of mine were pest ridden and I had no idea, now that I know how to fix it, I feel better about collecting them more, because I know that I will have, hopefully, success. My next goal is to stop holding on to plant stuff just in case, because I have to tell you, this is something that I do throughout my entire life. Like as a person, I am a very like, oh, but what if I need it for this? Let's keep it for that. Like this certain future use, I will keep something and harbor this item for years, when I don't know if I'm ever gonna use this again, but just the idea that I might possibly someday need it and not have it is like haunting enough that I will hold on to things. This is the year that I'm letting go of that, because it has led me to feeling very cluttered and like unsettled, as I discussed earlier in this video. And I feel that way with my plant stuff, with my plants in general. I don't want to just hold on to things just in case. I want to have a real reason. I want to have a real applicable thing that I'm gonna use this for in the next couple of months. And if I don't have a reason, or if it's not like a seasonal thing, like I'm not gonna get rid of my seed stuff just because I don't need it right now, but like, you know what I mean? Like pots and saucers and all of these things. Like if I literally have not used it in a year, it's out, maybe even 6 months with that kind of stuff, because I just hold on to things for what I think is a valid reason, and then it just turns out that I'm just harboring all this stuff, and then I don't actually know where anything I actually need is. So I really want to do a big clean out of all my plant stuff and just get rid of things that I've been holding on to. And I've been thinking about organizing a anything but the plant swap in my local community. I don't exactly know how I go about it. There's definitely like a few places I could reach out to host it, but I'm just sort of thinking that through because I wonder if there's anybody else who is in that similar situation. And I don't necessarily like want to bring things home, but I think it would be a good idea to like bring stuff that I don't use. And if there is something that somebody brings that like I would love, then we can trade and it can be like a whole thing. So I don't know, I'm sort of going through my head on like how I can make that happen. Even if it is just me posting stuff on my local Facebook group and being like, it's free, let's meet up, take it. I would rather do that than hold on to things for virtually no reason. And the last goal that I have right now in regards to my plants is a little bit more of a work goal, but I think it's really good to share this kind of stuff too, because then, you know, you guys can be involved in my goals and I don't know. So anyway, my last goal is I am very, very close to 100,000. My channel is definitely growing. I feel like the growth has slowed down significantly since like people have gone back to work and life has gone back to a relatively more normal pace, which I guess I was definitely expecting, because when everybody was working from home, my channel went like as I think most YouTube channels did, especially in the houseplant community. But anyway, the point is, I really want to get back to being super consistent with my uploads and, you know, just having specific days where people know when to come and see my videos, and just, I don't know, making sure that I'm showing up in all of the ways that I can, because this is my job and this is something that I love doing, and I really just want to show up and make content that you guys want to watch. So I'm super excited to get back into experimenting, and I've been talking with my patrons about the things that they like to see, and I feel like that's a pretty good sampling of like the rest of my viewers. But if there's any specific like type of video that you really like seeing from me, if you wouldn't mind commenting down below, because that would really help me out. I feel like after being in this sort of like plant slash life slash YouTube slump that I've been in for the last couple months, I'm coming out of it super invigorated and I have so many ideas again. I think that's like a hard thing with having a creative job, is having to always be creative and come up with new and fun ideas. It can be super draining, like on the mind, to always have to come up with something new. And it definitely was draining me for a little bit, but I never lost like the love of doing this. It's just hard because that's like every time I picked up my camera, it's like, well, I have to water again. Oh, well, I have to, you know, repot again. It's like these things can get a little bit monotonous for me, so I can't imagine how they are for you guys. Maybe it's not monotonous for you, but it did feel like that for me. So it kind of put me in a creative slump. So that's why I'm really excited to get back into experimenting and trying out Hoya again and just like doing something different from what I've been doing for so long. So I hope that that will help me like feel more motivated to make content and also make my channel more interesting to watch. I don't know, I'm just thinking and strategizing at the beginning of the year and organizing my life. So it's just making me think a lot, and I like the new year feeling where everything feels fresh and you kind of want to like improve your life. I think that's a really good thing, and I know it doesn't always last like through the entire year. Trust me, I know. But I think it is good to have a period of every year where you're kind of like looking at your life and reflecting and wanting a, I don't know, a renewal, or maybe you like the way things have been going and you just continue on with that. But I think it's good to stop and reflect. And I've definitely been doing a lot of stopping and reflecting lately. So anyway, Thank you guys for following my channel for 4 years. I'm so excited to be doing YouTube for a 5th year. I had no idea when I started my channel on a whim as a New Year's resolution in 2019 that I'd be sitting here in my sunroom in Missouri with my 2 dogs and my husband. Literally, my life has changed so much, and if you have been here from the beginning, I just want to say thank you so much, and happy birthday to us, you know? Happy YouTube anniversary to you and me for however long you've been watching, even if this is your first video of mine that you're seeing. I just want to say thank you for being here, genuinely. It keeps me going, and I love knowing that this community is so sweet and we're all here together, and yeah, it's the best. So thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to take a break from watering now because I've been doing this for like an hour and I don't want to burn myself out. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna come back to it probably tomorrow and finish. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.